Hi, welcome to another volume of Big Six. This week, we're gonna progress things a little bit. I'm gonna teach you some new moves, and we'll be able to incorporate that into some of the other things that we do. So starting out, let's work on rolling like a ball. All right, so I'm gonna get to this position just so you can kind of see what I'm gonna do sideways. And we're not gonna roll all the way to this volume, but what we're gonna do is build the foundation for being able to do it. So to start off with, I'm going to do kind of the regression. So we're going to grab behind our thighs and we're going to engage. You're going to engage your abs and kind of pull down and create a little bit of a ball. You can take your elbows out wide. And from this position, we're just going to work to get here where we can hover the feet. And so you're rolling back off your sit bone. All right. And you're just trying to maintain that balance. You can have your elbows wide, kind of just let your pelvis roll under, tuck your sacrum, and then come back, all right? And you can do 10 of these. You can do 5 really good ones. Again, we're not focused on how many we do. We're really focused on the quantity. Eventually, what we want to work to is where we're able to get here, roll back, and then come back up, and we're going to maintain. And we can also just kind of work all the way through and add a reach at the end. But we're going to experience that or explore that a little bit with some of the following volumes. So again, at beginning here, we just want to really work on that position. If that's too easy, then we can kind of get to the front of the knee or the shin, kind of really try to balance ourselves on our sit bone. We're going to stay in this position, straighten the legs out. We're going to do a spine stretch. Okay, so for the spine stretch, you can, if you have any shoulder issues in terms of range of motion, you can adjust the arm position. But I'm going to have the hands straight forward, palms facing one another, and I'm working nice and tall. I want to be really tall over my sit bone. If you've got kind of a bony sacrum or kind of really tight hamstrings, you could sit on a folded up towel or cushion just to kind of take a little bit of that stretch off. So I'm going to take a deep breath in here, and then I'm going to exhale, reaching forward, and then I'm going to sit back up. I'm going to change that a little bit. So I'm going to engage my abdominals, and I'm going to take a breath in as I reach. And so I'm trying to get my torso down here, but my low back, this part of my spine is going backwards as this part of my spine is going forward. And I'm going to work my way back up as I exhale there. Okay, so I'm going to reach. And then I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back, allow me to pull nice and tall, kind of opening up my heart or my chest wall. All right, so that is your spine stretch for it. So we're just going to work again here, engage as we try to find some length. Breathe in and then exhale, pull the shoulder blades back, get nice and tall. Okay, so we're going to transition to lying on our stomach or our belly. And we're going to work through here. Just going to give you a little bit of experience in terms of extension. So lying flat, what we want to do is go ahead and pull your belly button in. So you're engaging your abs, getting everything kind of connected to the ground. And we're just going to pull your shoulder blades down, try to find a little bit of length, and then back down. Okay? So again, pull the shoulder blades back down, pulling again. You want to stay really engaged in your abs. We're not going to go up super high. Eventually, we can get here where we work on lumbar extension. But for today, or this week, we're going to just pull down and just work up. Really keeping everything engaged, trying to find some extension, but that extension isn't happening way down here. It's happening a little further up your spine. And again, it's range of motion. So the spine is designed to flex, extend, side bend, and rotate. Now, each part of the spine is responsible for something a little bit different, but most of those movements are paired together. So again, just to review, we start here, head flat. You're going to pull the shoulder blades down and lift. And notice I'm not driving this with my neck, where I just go into a bunch of extension. I'm going to pull that belly button in, create some stability, and lift the heart and eyes, and then work back down. Trying to stay engaged the entire time. Now we're going to lie on our side, and we're going to do basically a side leg lift. If you have really bony hips, so at this point or greater trochanter of your femur is pretty prominent, you can put a towel under here, but I'm going to show you a couple of adjustments as well. Because if we flex the hip, flex that bottom leg, it'll be a little bit more comfortable for you to be on your side. First position would be this arm straight, so you're supported, all right? And you can keep your right hand here on the ground. So if your right hand stays on the ground, it allows you to kind of maintain engagement here, and then also not allow your pelvis and your upper torso to rotate forward and back. So first position, engaged, nice and tall. We're gonna lift. We're not gonna go really, really high because that involves side bending in the lumbar spine. We're just gonna work up and then back down. Again, up and back down. And that's your side leg lift. All right, so just kind of maintaining that. I can bring this leg a little bit forward and do a few here. This hand, my right hand is just stabilizing me. And then I can go back just to here and work the side leg lift. So got 3 positions. On my side, I'm gonna go even with the bottom leg. I'm gonna go slightly ahead of the bottom leg. And then I'll go slightly behind the bottom leg. I can always then progress it. If that's really easy, I can progress my left hand up. So I'm really kind of side bending, or not side bending, but engaging my left side, and still keeping the hand here and work on the side leg lift. I can also take my right hand off the ground, and I can work on the side leg lift here. All right, and I've got an option to get to this position if I wanted to, or this position, and still work on that side leg lift. All right, so that what it allows us to do, and I'll swap sides here to really kind of know different. I can start in this position. All right, I can go forward. I can go back. And that's my side leg lift. I can come to this position and do the same thing where I go straight to the side. I can go forward. So I'm really staying engaged through my core, and I'm not allowing my pelvis to move in a million different directions. I don't want my pelvis kind of just rocking back and forth. I can also get here and do the same thing. All right, I can take this hand up and do the same thing. All right, so that'll be your side leg lift. Now we're going to transition to standing. What we do societally is that we move forward a lot. There's a thought process that moving backwards is not something that's positive. Unless you play tennis or a sport where you have to retreat, you don't do a whole lot of backwards movement. So that forward movement can really be challenging because it doesn't allow us to utilize a lot of extension. And when I say extension, I don't mean extension in terms of pushing off. I mean, when we go backwards, we're activating our extensions in a little bit of a different pattern. So what we're going to do is really work on lateral motion, not only because we don't do it very often, but because there's some ways we can pair it with our diagonal or fascial line or spiral fascial line. Some people call that performance line. So standing, let's start again with just kind of great posture, kind of check in. Now that we're in that position, we're going to take a side step and reach forward. Side step, reach forward. I'm not going to lunge, but just a side step. So I'm waking up my lateral hip. Then I'm going to side step, reach up to the same side. Side step, reach up. And now I'm going to go side step, reach out. Good. All right. Now we're going to change it up just a little bit. I'm going to go into side step left, but I'm going to reach up right. So I get a little bit of a diagonal pattern. Side step right, but I reach up left. All right. And so I'm moving one side of the body away from the other a bit. And that's the diagonal line. Right? So thinking about your internal and external obliques, your adductors, we're just moving in opposite directions. So we're actually able to store a little energy there. And that's our side step. So we do side step reach. That wakes up the lateral hip a little bit. Now we're going to go into side step lunge. And it's not going to be a deep movement, but it's going to be enough just to kind of wake things up a little bit. Starting in the middle of your mat. Here's what it's going to look like. I side step left. And now I just drop into my left hip a bit. I'm going to stretch a little bit of my adductor. If you wanted to, if your fitness level allows, you can take the arms out. You can reach out this to your left, or you can reach out to your right. We're not going to hold that forever. I'm just going to show. I was just showing you kind of what some options are. Side step. All right, so it's a side step lunge. Side step lunge. You could go further down if you'd like. If your fitness level allows, you can work into this position. If your fitness level allows. But again, going back to just how often do you do that? Now from here, do you have multiple options? Could you pick something up here? Could you pick something up to your right side? Could you pick something that up kind of just between your legs? So a lot of variety there. But we really feel that it's important to work lateral mobility, activating your lateral hip, because your lateral hip really allows you to stand on one leg. It's going to control the drop of your pelvis when you're standing on one leg. So whether that's going up steps and not being able to control the pelvis, getting in and out of the car, getting on and off the pod, there's so many things that we do in life every day that we can benefit if we learn not to just move forward, but also to move backwards, to move sideways, and to do some rotational type activities. Again, the people that I feel do a good job of this, or at least incorporating it, are our tennis players and our golfers, because of the rotational component required for the sport. But you also don't play tennis or golf every day. So finding some ways to incorporate movements that you don't do every day, but that are still valuable or beneficial to global movement is a positive step. That was our Big Six for this volume. We hope during the week that you're able to unpack this and have some fun doing it. We hope that you're able to improve your ability to move from point A to point B. Remember, move well, live well, and do amazing things.